Hello everyone, this is Anjali Tyagi. Today I am giving you the summary of the chapter Indigo. This chapter has been taken from Flamingo book of class 12th English. So first of all, let's know about the author. Louis Fisher, who was born in 1896 and died in 1970. He served as a volunteer in the British Army between 1918 to 1920. Fisher made a career as a journalist and wrote for the New York Times, the Saturday Review, and for European and Asian publications. He was also a member of the faculty of Princeton University. Summary of the chapter. Louis Fisher, the author of the chapter, met Gandhiji in 1942 at his ashram in Sevagram. Gandhiji told him how he initiated the departure of the British from India. He recalled that in 1917, at the request of Rajkumar Shukla, a sharecropper from Champaran, he visited the place. Gandhiji had gone to Lucknow to attend the annual meeting of the Indian National Congress in the year 1916. Shukla told him that he had come from Champaran to seek his help in order to safeguard the interests of the sharecroppers. Gandhiji told him that he was busy, so Shukla accompanied him to various places till he consented to visit Champaran. His firm decision impressed Gandhiji and he promised him that he would visit Calcutta at a particular date and then Shukla could come and take him along to Champaran. Shukla met him at Calcutta and they took a train to Patna. Gandhiji went to lawyer Rajendra Prasad's house and they waited for him. In order to grab complete knowledge of the situation, he reached Muzaffarpur on 15th April 1917. He was welcomed by Professor J.B. Kriplani and his students. Gandhiji was surprised to see the immense support for an advocate of home rule like him. He also met some lawyers who were already handling cases of sharecroppers. As per the contract, 15% of the peasants' land holding was to be reserved for the cultivation of indigo, the crop of which was given to the landlord as rent. This system was very oppressive. Gandhiji wanted to help the sharecroppers, so he visited the British Landlord Association. But he was not given any information because he was an outsider. He then went to the commissioner of the Tirhut division, who threatened Gandhiji and asked him to leave Tirhut. Instead of returning, he went to Motihari. Here he started gathering complete information about the indigo contract. He was accompanied by many lawyers. One day, as he was on his way to meet a peasant who was maltreated by the indigo planters, he was stopped by the police superintendent's messenger, who served him a notice asking him to leave. Gandhiji received the notice but disobeyed the order. A case was filed against him. Many lawyers came to advise him, but when he stressed, they all joined his struggle and even consented to go to jail in order to help the poor peasants. On the day of trial, a large crowd gathered near the court. It became impossible to handle them. Gandhiji helped the officers to control the crowd. Gandhiji gave his statement that he was not a lawbreaker, but he disobeyed so that he could help the peasants. He was granted bail and later on the case against him was dropped. Gandhiji and his association started gathering all sorts of information related to the Indigo contract and its misuse. Later, a commission was set up to look into the matter. After the inquiry was concluded, the planters were found guilty and were asked to pay back to the peasants. Expecting refusal, they offered to pay only 25% of the amount. Gandhiji accepted this too because he wanted to free the sharecroppers from the binding of the Indigo contract. In fact, the amount was less important than the fact that the landlords had to be forced to return part of the money, and with it part of their pride and prestige. He opened schools in Champaran village, and volunteers like Mahadev Desai, Narhari Parekh and his son Devdas taught there. Kasturbai, the wife of Gandhiji, used to teach personal hygiene. Later on, with the help of the volunteer doctor, he provided medical facilities to the natives of Champaran, thus making their life a bit better. A peacemaker, Andrews wanted to volunteer at Champaran ashram, but Gandhiji refused as he wanted Indians to learn the lesson of self-reliance so that they would not depend on others. Gandhiji told the writers that it was Champaran's incident that made him think that he did not need the Britishers' advice while he was in his own country. So this is all about the chapter. Thank you very much for listening me.